Hello, welcome to our presentation today on tools to assist families in supporting positive social emotional development. This training was adapted from one from the Kentucky Regional Training Center that was originally presented by Alicia Wedding and Sonia Michael. Our presenters today are Diana Carlson, Jade Ferraro, myself, Julie Hilton, Pam Traylor, and Laura Waltz Sexton, all support staff, either instructional coaches or early ECE resource teachers. And we hope that this will be some information that you can share with your families as they work with their students to develop social emotional skills. So why do we want to talk about social emotional skills and why are they important? We know that research tells us that early social emotional skills are related to our success later in life, and that social emotional skills help children to persist on challenging tasks, to effectively seek help when they need it, and to be thoughtful in their actions. So, how as teachers can we help families support social and emotional development? We do this by communicating with families and developing a strong partnership, by sharing strategies for families to use at home, by discussing social emotional learning during conferences, home visits, or other meetings we may have with families, and also by working with community agencies and support personnel to support our families in any needs they may have, and especially in the development of social emotional skills. So, what about understanding social emotional development? When we talk about that, what we're basically saying is we want to be able to help children to identify emotions, express their emotions appropriately, use self regulation and self calming strategies, and to develop empathy and relationship skills. So, how do we help children identify their emotions? We want to give the child many opportunities to identify their feelings and also the feelings of others. We want to make sure that we teach all of the feeling words, not just happy, sad, and mad, but to include those other words like frustrated or confused or excited, and that we teach those and use those and describe those ourselves as teachers and encourage our parents to do the same. Our second step program um, does an excellent job of teaching the different feeling words and providing scenarios and activities for practice. And by sharing the family letters in your virtual classroom, or once we return to in person instruction, by sending those home to the families, that's a great way to support them in teaching their child the different emotion words and activities to practice those. So, why is a strong emotional vocabulary important? We know that children who have a strong emotional vocabulary tolerate frustration better, get into fewer fights, engage in less destructive behavior, are healthier, are less lonely and less impulsive, are more focused, and have greater academic achievement. So, how do we help children express their feelings appropriately? We want to keep it simple, make sure we're relating the feelings to the experiences, and encourage them to talk about their feelings. One important note is that you do not want to try to practice or have a conversation in the middle of a tantrum. That's not an appropriate time to teach a child a new skill. So we want to teach these emotion words and teach the self-calming and self-regulation strategies prior to those meltdowns occurring so that then the child has the skills. One thing that conscious discipline suggests is a process called DNA, where the D stands for describe. And so you're going to say to the child, when they are in a moment of upset, your face is going like this. If they're upset, then you can make a mad face or a sad face. Usually, what happens when you use that language is that the child is going to look at you. And when they look at you, then you want to take that deep breath because we have mirror neurons. And so when the child sees us take that deep breath, they're going to take a deep breath as well. And that just helps disengage that stress for the moment and be able to help them self regulate. Once you've described what's going on, then you want to name. You seem really frustrated, or you seem really sad, or you seem really angry. And then acknowledge what it was that they were trying to get or do. You seem really frustrated. You wanted to finish the puzzle by yourself, and now there's a piece missing and you can't finish it. So we want to help them associate the language and the experience so they know how to describe it and they know how they're feeling. When I feel like this, it's frustrated. And by practicing this and then downloading that calm, as we'll talk about a little bit later, through the breathing strategies, you're helping your child develop the skills they need to be successful and to be able to regulate their emotions. So, again, just to kind of summarize this first part, why is teaching about emotions important? We know that when children learn how to self regulate, it reduces unhealthy behaviors for children, but also for us. And that emotional health is critical to good physical health as well.
And we know that in order to get better at anything, it's important to practice. So if you want a child to get better at writing their name, you have them practice that over and over again. If you want them to get better at letter recognition, they practice and you put those in front of them all the time. If we want to be better at basketball, we practice that skill. It's the same with understanding our emotions. We need to have the child practice that. And one to practice that at home. So here are some examples of things that you can do at home with your children. The first game is called Play Make a Face. And here's where you're going to tell the child that you are going to make a face and you would like them to guess what feeling that your facial expression is showing. Once they guess the feeling and guess it correctly, you want to give them an example of a time that you may have felt that way. So, if I am showing a sad face, I can say that sometimes I feel sad when I'm missing my dad. And you can have that conversation with your child. And then you want to take turns and have the child do a face for you and you guess. And then they give you an example of a time that they have felt that way. The next one is called to Make an Emotion Book. So here, obviously, you're going to need some paper, some writing utensils, markers, pencils, however you would like to do it. And as educators, obviously, you can let parents know that in order to make a book, they can use a stapler, they can punch holes in and use string. Any way is great, but have them draw emotion pictures in there and label them so they can draw a picture of a sad face or a happy face, an afraid face, or an excited face to kind of build on what Julie was saying, to go past those basic words and to get into some more words that extending that vocabulary. And or you can have them cut out pictures from magazines of people who are showing faces that have different emotions and have them label those. You could also have them take pictures of themselves, or you take pictures of them and put that in the book as well and label. But you can also do a book where it's a book about times that they feel excited or times that they feel afraid, and have those pictures in there, and then revisit that whenever they're having issues in the house. If they're feeling sad at some time or feeling afraid, you can get that book out and you can revisit and talk about those things, and that it is okay to have those feelings, and that adults feel those things as well. Another game that you can play is called Mirror, Mirror, What Do I See? And this is kind of based off the book Brown Bear, as we're all familiar with. So, how you would do this is you would get a hand mirror or use a mirror that's hanging in your wall or a bathroom mirror. And you start by saying, mirror, mirror, what do I see? And it might be, I see a happy mommy looking at me, and you would show a happy face, and then also have that in reverse for the child. So the child do that in the mirror, and you guess that feeling, and you can talk about those again and giving those examples. Um, of times that you have those feelings throughout the day or just in your life in general. And then obviously using books is so important with talking about emotions. So there are so many books out there that deal with emotions that are very appropriate for this age level. These are our three different books that we have up here, but it is important to, not all the time during your reading, but at some points during the reading to stop and to talk about what's going on in the page and how do you know that that child is feeling afraid or scared or happy? What do you see in the picture that's showing you that? And talk about the book as you go along and the feelings and the things that they are doing. And for instance, seeing the book B is for Breathe. So how do you know that child is taking a deep breath? What are they doing to show you that? So those are some great resources that parents can use at home that you can share with them and in ways to practice emotional well-being within their children.
Self-regulation and self-calming. Okay, self-regulation is so important. It's vital for success, not only in school life, but in life in general. It involves understanding when and how to control impulses and enables children to cooperate with others, cope with frustrations, and to resolve conflict. So teaching this at home, it's very easy to tell a child to stop doing something, but providing a positive choice is very helpful in helping with self-regulation. So if your child's in the bathtub and has some toys and they're splashing water out on the floor, instead of saying stop splashing the water on the floor, just give them the maybe some choices. How about you scoop the water in this bucket and pour it in this can, or how about you pour the water on yourself? So just giving positive choices instead of just being negative and telling them to stop. Another one would be if say the child's playing with his brother and they are keep fighting, what could you instead of stop fighting? A good example would be, how about come get mommy if you need some help, or could we just trade off this toy for, the toy that the sibling wanted? So just trying to help them to problem solve and self-regulate, or just by giving them some positive choices to make. Now, another thing to help children learning how to wait their turn. Really good, fun way is playing board games. Kids want to maybe go each time. So nope, my turn. And then I was playing a game with my husband the other night with our grandson. Nana's turn, and I took my turn, and my grandson wanted to go. And my husband said, oh, but it's Grandpa's turn. So that is a fun way, and he finally got it. Oh, your turn, Grandpa. So that's a really fun way to help children to learn a memory game, taking your turn, my turn, and then they get to, with those cards, not flip over there too. So playing games is a really fun way to help them to wait their turn. Another thing is encouraging children to follow directions. Making cookies, that's following directions. Getting that recipe out and reading it with them. Having any kind of a hands-on, painting a car that you have to put the wheels on and put stickers on, and following those directions. Even following those directions on playing the games. Sometimes kids want to come up with their own directions. So just really encourage them, wait, let's look at the directions here. So another good way to help with those regulation skills. Now, another thing is doing activities that help them to persist at a task. Maybe, I know in the classroom, building or planting those seeds and then watching as the grass comes up. That's not immediate. That's helping them learning to be persistent. Maybe there's an activity, building a puzzle. Maybe what a family activity could be putting together a 50 or 100 piece puzzle. And, it's a long, and you have to be persistent to get that. But once the final picture is done, it's like, it's just such a feeling of, we did it. And that's not an overnight activity. So doing activities that they have to really persist is a good way to help with that self-regulation.
Calming strategies. Everyone gets upset. Everyone needs to learn how to deal with being upset and must teach calming strategies consistently and practice. The biggest thing is to practice. You cannot teach an upset child anything when they are upset. Adults must remain calm so they can help the child. And teachers, I know that you guys can stay calm, and maybe you can encourage parents when they are with you during the classroom to stay calm also. You can also express to the parents while you're on with them the relaxation thermometer. You need to show the kids when they're relaxed. Feel how nice and quiet your body is. Look at this thermometer. Look, you're nice and you're calm and you're peaceful. Uh-oh, look at the thermometer now. And the parents can actually show this also. Oh, this person is not feeling very calm. They're very upset. And look how angry they look. And look at the red thermometer. So the parents can actually even make a thermometer at their house that shows a relaxed and a mad and how it goes up. Also, and you guys do this great in the classroom, all the Google classrooms that I've been in, the teachers are starting with this calming strategies and they are practicing it every day. And you can make sure that the parents are watching and seeing which ones they like. Most of you guys, I see you doing the balloon, which is a wonderful one, and the faucet. And that could be something that the parents are also doing at home. You can make a choice board, of course, in the classroom, but the parents can also make a choice board of ones that they like. They might like just the balloon or the pretzel or the drain, and they can choose something at home. Physical activities, as everyone knows, are essential to have your body calm. Playing outdoors, blowing bubbles, taking a walk, and yoga. Yoga is really good just because you put so much deep pressure on your joints, and you can even show some of the parents, if you guys know any type of yoga, some really good, maybe fun yoga for kids. And that is a nice calming strategy they can do at home and you can do in the classroom.
We've given you a lot of information today, and now I'm going to share a few of our resources. We have the Challenging Behavior Resource, which is a website for parents on all things social emotional. The second resource was Centers for Resilient Children. I use that one myself quite often and have signed up for some trainings through them. It's a good resource where you can look at some simple activities that parents can do at home to help build their children's social emotional well-being and their resiliency. The third one is conscious discipline. And Laura just mentioned that with the breathing techniques and learning all those. There's lots of other great things with conscious discipline. And there's stories and resources there for the teachers as well as our families. The next one is Second Step. Of course, we're using Second Step curriculum in our classroom, but this resource also includes some COVID-19 support, which I think we can all agree, not just us as teachers, our kids, our families, we all need that right now. So looking at that resource and sharing about the COVID-19 resources as well as the social emotional, the mindfulness, and the bullying. The next one is Sesame Street. It has some video book recordings and other free activities. I know when I was still in the classroom, I used Sesame Street all the time for the kids. There's all kinds of fun stuff there for them to do. The last one is NAEYC. Of course, that is a great resource that all of us as teachers and coaches and ECE resource know about. But this section is designed just for tips for parents. So it's a good resource to share with your parents. The last thing we'd like to say is a special thanks to the Kentucky Regional Training Centers for developing the training that this presentation has been adapted from, and the original presenters were Alicia Wedding and Sonia Michael. Thank you guys for joining us today.